A lot of you guys didn't like slash didn't agree with my recent Halo Combat Evolved video, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay.
Hadouken!
What's up, everybody? My name is Sen. Welcome back to the channel, and for today's video, I wanted to talk about a video I recently made. These are kind of apart from the videos I normally make on this channel. Usually it's not as casual. This is going to be a hyper casual video compared to what I usually make, but I got a lot of negative feedback, and that's perfectly okay. I just wanted to chat with you guys about it because I don't mind you guys saying that it's like, oh, I don't agree with anything you said in this video, or oh, I think you're fucking stupid. I got a little bit of that, like minor. And then some of you guys were cool enough to be like, oh, hey, like, I still love the shit out of this game, but I'm hearing some of your points. Totally fair, valid. You guys are fucking based. I'm just like, oh, I can actually have a conversation with these guys. Hell yeah. And I tried to be as casual with a lot of you as possible. And I'll be extremely transparent with you. I'll show you guys the likes to dislikes right now. I'm not a huge YouTuber, obviously. I have like a little bit more than 50 subscribers. Some of you guys subscribe because of that video, and that's fucking awesome. 16 likes to 10 dislikes. I'm a fucking nobody. Who fucking cares about my opinion? That's the thing too, is like, if you don't agree with any of my points, that's perfectly fine. Like, we're not here to make an echo chamber. I think that's so unhealthy for the life of the game. I think it's interesting when people are actually offering something contrary. If I just wanted to make a video that was well received, I would have just done that. I would have just copped out, glazed the fuck out of the game like all of you wanted, and then been on my merry fucking way. And that's perfectly fine. I think there's plenty of room and merit for those videos existing. There's plenty of videos out there saying that Halo Combat Evolved is the greatest game ever, like, oh, so revolutionary, this, that, the third. I've heard it a billion times. Yeah, I won't deny what the game did. I guess let's talk a little bit of like pretext, because I'm gonna talk about some of your guys' comments. Like, I'm sure there's a new comment right now saying this guy's fucking stupid. Oh yeah, this one right here. Let's go into the pretext of what actually led up to me getting to this point, because some of you guys didn't understand what this video was about. Someone actually asked, like, what is the point of this video? And if you actually want the point of this video, it was said really early on in the video. It was just saying, on my shared channel, DualShock, I said I would never play the game again, I wouldn't touch it, but that was actually a lie because I wanted to attempt to reevaluate my feelings here, giving it another chance. Because when I played this game when I was a little kid, I was so impressionable by my older brothers of just like, you know, whatever they'd say, just parrot that and just not really think about it. Like, oh, Halo's the greatest game ever. And so much in my future gaming life did I start to disagree with my brothers because our taste started to vary quite drastically. So hence 20 years later, I played it again, but I was not optimized to enjoy Halo Combat Evolved for what it was. Like, I was lucky if I could get 30 minutes to an hour to maybe 2 hours if I was really pushing it to sit down and play the game at that time. And dude, I would not recommend that for any game. That shit would fucking suck. I think you'd probably hate playing a game 30 minutes at a time, just chipping away. Maybe some of you guys would like it, I don't know. And that kind of spawned, plus me playing Doom 2016, I was like, dude, this game is so incredible just from a pure mechanical standpoint. Like, and then there was just this comparison of just like, that's where the mentality of like, this game is not that good, this game sucks. Dude, you guys should have heard the original draft of Halo Combat Evolved. When I first started writing about it, I was blatantly shitting on the game. I was like, I don't know how anyone thinks this game holds up. I don't know how it spawned a franchise. It probably not shit exactly like that, but probably shit akin to it. So, and then that was the point where I was just like, I'm never playing this game again. And I was just like, no, that's not fair. Like, let me give this game another shot. Let me see if what I'm saying is actually like on the money or if I'm just wrong, because I'm willing to accept if I'm wrong. Like, I've been talking to you guys all in the comments. If you guys have something valid to say to change my mind, it's totally fair. I even, after posting this and reading some of you guys' comments talking about the lore, I looked up some lore videos even more, going into the deeper lore of everything, like Halo's overarching story, talking about the books, talking about all the other games. And I don't lie, it was pretty cool. And some of you guys were saying it's just like, oh, you obviously don't know anything about the books or the other games. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't played them since I was a kid, but I'm just working with this game and what's here. And what's in this version of Halo Combat Evolved, which You know, in fairness, I didn't say it was the Master Chief Anniversary Collection, but when you... It might say Halo Anniversary, I don't know. But it says Halo Combat Evolved, right? And one of you guys was nitpicking that. That's totally fine. If the music and whatever is dramatically better, that's totally cool. I'll read that comment. We'll get to a whole bunch of comments in a second. To be frank, it's not a whole lot. Like, a lot of people are telling me that like doing extra reading informs what's actually going on in Combat Evolved, which the extra reading that I did do after the fact is really cool, but I was just going off of what I played. And after talking with you guys, some of you guys in the comment section that I was actually conversing, I would bump the game up a little bit. I would say I would take it from a 6 to a 7, and let's evaluate what a 7 actually means. I set the bar in the video. I was like, oh, hey, 5 is just like, it's all right, it's okay. So I gave the game a 6. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like, I wouldn't knock you for playing it by any means. 7 out of 10 is a good game. When it came to the actual criteria I was pulling from the game, I brought up Doom 2016 because I had played Doom 2016 a little while after that, and it just resembled so much of what I like mechanically. And I have a question for you guys. Is Halo Combat Evolved? Is Halo a boomer shooter? Because so much of the DNA resembles a boomer shooter. Boomer Shooter is a first-person shooter game that draws inspiration from the original era of shooters, often from the 1990s and early 2000s. The term boomer shooter is likely a joke that uses a slang term for boomer to refer to an old person who's... Okay. Often refers to retro-style type, large number of Doomquake, System Shock, Duke Nukem. Sure, but that doesn't actually... The criteria I'd pull from Doom 2016 would be the audio/sound design, the visuals, the narrative, and the gameplay. Those are the 4 primary pillars I would use to say if this game was decent or not decent. I think those are fair evaluations to use. The highest praise I would give the game would be the audio design. Some of you guys were talking to me about the audio just being so good, and I agree. Like, when I was playing Doom, like, mechanically, that might be a representation of what a 10 out of 10 would be in an FPS, just because of how interactive it was, how much you were in charge of, the drip feed of enemies, the drip feed in weapons, and the way you deal with enemies. It was all really good. And then traversing around the maps, how you'd actually navigate each arena that you'd be in, it was all really good. Audio would actually be the biggest problem I'd have with Doom, which, like, the music when you're first getting into the game is really sick, actually, and it gets you hype, it gives you the energy you need, and it does that really well. But once you hear it so many times, it turns into like this weird white noise almost. Like, I was just like tuning it out. But in this case for Halo Combat Evolved, I wasn't doing that at all. Like, I was really vibing with a lot of the audio tracks. My biggest complaint was when the audio would cut out, because I just wanted more of the music. I didn't want the music to stop. Loop that shit if you have to, because it was just that good. And yeah, I really liked it a lot. I think the guns sounded like the impact and the punchiness of them all was really good. The audio design of the enemies dying or whatever it may have been was all really good. I do have one complaint in the audio. I could complain about the voice acting. I'm sure you guys would crucify me for that as well, because most of the characters in that game are pretty one note as far as like tonality is concerned. Like, Chief doesn't go up and down. He's very like, he is the soldier, he's the action movie star, is like, we're gonna get shit done, and that's cool. And then like, same with Captain Keyes, same with whoever. You know, you might argue that Keyes has a little bit more vocally dynamic range, but the biggest antithesis of that, or the opposite example of that, would be Cortana. I feel like the way her vocal direction goes is so up and down, and she has so much tonality in the way she like presents information to you. She's who you heard talking and a lot, and I didn't get sick of her voice. Visually, the one thing I should have done is I should have exemplified more about how striking some of the visual elements were, because I was really negative on the copy and paste of some arenas that you'd be placed in, particularly the Covenant ship. That would be like the most egregious, where it's just like, dude, everything looks the exact same. I don't know where the fuck I am, bro. I'm directionally challenged. It is what it is. But the actual landscapes are so striking, and I should have personify that a little bit more to you. I should have presented that information a little bit more to you, because it just sounded like I was purely negative on the visuals. No, dude, like, I cannot, like, it looked like a fucking Bob Ross painting. And that shit was tight. Like, every new environment that you're in, like, I just had to stop and stare for a minute, because it was that cool. Gameplay. I kind of already characterized what I deem to be really good gameplay. This didn't have, like, peaks or anything like that. It didn't have any moments where, like, it did things a little bit better than I should have given a little bit more credit. And especially after talking to you, some of you guys, I should have given some points a little bit more credit, because I talked about the way in which you're made to tackle opposition isn't really different between itself. I will say it is a little bit more than I gave it credit for. Because thinking about the Legion, you know, their big weakness is plasma pistols. And, or not plasma pistols, but like Covenant weaponry. That's the biggest thing that's going to affect them. Talking with some of you guys about the Flood, and some of you guys telling me about, like, oh, hey, there's a reason why snipers didn't do anything to them. I'm just like, oh, I wasn't able to infer that. If they said something about that, I totally missed it. Someone was explaining the lore reason why Flood aren't really affected by the sniper rounds. Like, I can go to the comment right now. Let's oh, here. Bro complaining about not being able to use sniper against the Flood. Bro, that's the point. I was just asking questions like, oh, hey, did they give any kind of context clues, or did they state anything in game dialogue that I potentially missed? And then, yeah, some of you guys were explaining to me, like, in the lore, and it's like, oh yeah, there were some context clues on them. Like, chances are I probably just totally blanked it. Like, some of you guys were telling me, it's like, oh yeah, the most available weaponry was, like, not the sniper. For me, I'm not thinking that hard on it, obviously. I'm just like, oh, like, it came across to me as like, oh, this is, like, they're getting staggered, but they're not, like, dying. This must be, like, a glitch or something. That's how it came across to me. It's common knowledge that the sniper rifle has much muzzle velocity in Halo. The rounds just go straight through the biomass of the Flood, not much / any damage to them because of the way the Flood works. I don't get what is so hard to understand. You can literally see the rounds pass through them. Sniper rifle rounds in universe were designed to penetrate shields and Covenant armor. This dude knows absolutely nothing about Halo, and he just shouldn't play it and stick to the games aimed at modern audiences. You can totally criticize me for not picking up on that. That's totally fair. I think the ending statement is so stupid. Like, there's a couple of people who's like, oh, you shouldn't be playing this game then. I'm just like, that's so dumb. Like, the fact that you guys just want an echo chamber and you just want a circle jerk of this game. Like, why would you just want to be around people with your same ideas? Like, if I come to you with new information or a new way of looking at the game, or just anything, it doesn't have to be this game, and you say like, oh, I never really thought about it that way, and then your perspective changes, and then it informs your future decisions on how you feel about things. TV_Tim was talking to me about the elite colors. And they said the elite colors you mentioned do have a difference. The color denotes their rank. I completely forgot about that. They have differing health and shield values depending on what rank they are. I think it goes blue, red, white, gold. I had white elites in the footage, completely forgot about. I did not know about the gold existing at all. And then they're saying the tanking game is a bit not great. The cannon reload and turret movement are very slow, especially compared to later games. But in return for faster fire rate, they took away the drivers. Something? It just completely cut off your shit? What the fuck? I talked about the tank being like, I wish the tank felt better, because like that's the whole power fantasy, like as far as it goes, as far as like your vehicles. That's your most powerful thing that you're driving around. And you kind of do feel like a badass as far as like raw power. But dude, I was just having so much more fun driving the Warthog and just like Tokyo drifting. That was a lot of fun. But the tank wasn't as fun to drive, unfortunately. Yeah, and then a couple of you guys were just super duper nice. Like, I still love the game, play it over again. I reckon most of it's because of nostalgia. I agree with your points, great video. Yeah, there were a couple of you that were just like totally like, oh, hey, I'm biased about the game because I'm super nostalgic. I'm like, dude, that's totally fine. Like, I'm not doing this video to take that away from you. dude, if you just want to disregard my video and it's like, dude, I eternally love this game, that's perfectly fine. Like, nothing against that. I'm just like, dude, I'm so happy you can enjoy the game in the way that you do, and it makes and elates the feelings that it does from you, and it still makes you feel like the coolest motherfucking Spartan. That's awesome. LMAO, yeah, one of the last AAA co-op story modes on the planet is bad. Yeah, no point did I call the game like shit or anything like that. I would have called it shit before my reevaluation on the game, but I don't think it's shit or anything like that. I think a big thing about the game and what makes it feel so badass is the story. I'm very biased towards the game and how fun. Objectively agree with most everything you said, but to say the story could use some service, come on bro, respectfully, you're talking out of your ass saying that. The game has the best story out of any game series I have seen or played, and it's not even close when you consider how far in depth it goes and the religious and enlightened aspects. Give Fall of Reach audiobook a chance and play Halo 2 and try some understand what's going on. Your whole opinion on the story will surely change. Yeah, I watched some lore videos, and it was really cool. I was enjoying a lot of what was going on with the lore, but like I said, I was just playing off of what was presented to you. I said when it comes to the story, I was just going off of what was there, and there was and what was there was serviceable for sure. This comment too, like they get it. It's just like, oh hey, I'm not a Halo player. I'm not like a die-hard Halo fan. Like that's my siblings. Like I play other games. Like how would it not be valuable for someone outside of, dude, someone's alarm is fucking going crazy right now. Yeah, and with this comment, like they're talking about how like the story edgewise would just be too long to cram into this game. That's totally fair. But he's just like, oh hey, it's cool seeing a non-Halo player talk about the game. And that's another part of the whole point, is just like, oh yeah, I'm coming from outside of the genre. I don't play a whole lot of shooters these days. Like me playing Doom 2016 was like a total exception. To give you guys, like, to be completely transparent with you guys, I play a lot of fighting games. Fighting games to me are the greatest genre ever, and that's just to me. Like if so many of my friends don't give a fuck about fighting games, that's totally cool. No problems from me. I would love to convince them edgewise that fighting games are great and everyone should give them a shot, but I understand it's a niche genre. Why can't I see the full comments on here? Okay, yeah, for some reason I couldn't read the rest of some people's comments on that browser. This person was saying, what was the point of this video? If this was an attempt at a review of the game, you need to watch how other people do. This was awful. Also, make sure you change the title of Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, as you didn't play the original, you played the 343 Remastered, which is a butchered version, just so people know you're not talking about the original game. Since they butchered the graphics, lighting, sound, music, mixing, even loading screens if you want to be pedantic. Watch some more Angry Joe before you put out another video or worth a buy. That should help. We want to hear your opinion on why you have that opinion, not a recap of what's in the game. Here's the thing. When I look at all of these comments, and for the most part, I have been looking at all your guys' comments, I genuinely sit for a moment and try to like, okay, is this comment valid? And there might be some truth to this one. I'll actually see if they're saying some shit like that's actually valuable. Like, I'm not disregarding any of your guys' comments just because it feels like it's shitting on me. Like, if you guys have valid criticism, that's totally fine. Like, I'm totally willing to hear you guys out, and if you guys have differing opinions, which you guys can sway my, like, that's the thing, is like, the nature of this content is conversational. If you guys are willing to have a conversation with me, you might even change my mind if you make good enough points. Like, if you say some valid shit, I'm willing to listen. If all you're doing is like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, he has no idea what I'm talking about, that doesn't push the conversation, that does nobody good. That's just fueling hate. If you think I'm wrong, dude, you're more than welcome to think I'm wrong. That's the whole point of this video. Ryan Plummer 5583 starts off with, I don't think he really understands the game well enough to criticize it. I don't think that's the right way of thinking, because I played the game. I already have enough information to criticize the game in any way or fashion that I feel like. Whether you agree with it or not is up for debate. Playing the game should give you enough information to talk about the game at length. Number one, you don't quite understand the basic strategy of the plasma pistol. You're supposed to grab it for the elites and swap weapons to another gun to finish them off. Editor, cue the clip of where I talk about the plasma pistol. The one thing you can do with the plasma pistol is a charged full power shot, which would temporarily drain the battery of the gun, but most of the time kill an enemy, at the very least drain them of their shields. In the clip of me talking about the plasma pistol, I say at the very least it will break a shield for you. I'm sure we can infer what you do after you break a shield. Chances are you go aggressive, so you can do that one of the two ways, and it's my fault for not explaining. You could either swap weapons like you stated, and I probably did that, or you can melee them, which is very likely what I did. Very effective on harder difficulties, which from the video it doesn't appear that you played on. Another reason is that you are explaining the game very toughly, as if anyone doesn't know what the game is by now. So the difficulty thing. You didn't really criticize me for playing on not the hardest difficulty, but yeah, I didn't play on the hardest difficulty. I think I played the one down from that. I don't know if the playthrough I did before was on the hardest difficulty. Chances are I played on the same difficulty twice. I wasn't really looking to go through of just like, oh yeah, I want this like game to be not that it would be a slog, but I want the hardest experience about this game or anything like that. I was just like, oh yeah, I kind of want to breeze through this game a little bit, but I do want some resistance. It's like a fighting sport where you don't train at full capacity. You fight with like 60 or 70% resistance because you're working on technique. That's not a great example. It's just how my brain thinks of it. Another reason is that you're explaining the game very toughly, as if anybody doesn't know what the game is by now. Then the point is that that's not for you. It's actually for me. The biggest thing about this channel, and not that you guys care, but once again this is for me, is this channel is a way of me containing my own thoughts, as well as and maybe some people don't know what the game is. Like, I haven't played the game in a number of years prior, and there's some people that haven't got into the game. If you're trying to get people to not play the game, I hope this is a very ineffective video. It's a timeless classic. All the other criticisms are addressed by future installments of the games: more guns, better story, better graphics, ramped up soundtracks, and much more. Anytime I make a retrospective or analysis video or anything in between, I hope someone goes in and is like, okay, let me try this for myself. Like, I heard what this person said, I heard what this person said, all these people are saying, let me try it for myself, figure it out for myself. For the most part, I always recommend someone goes and plays the game in spite of what I think. And honestly, I hope they turn around and is like, nah, I actually really like the game, because that furthers the conversation. That way we proceed with things not being an echo chamber, and we actually have meaningful conversation about the game. Tell me why I'm wrong. That's fine. I love that, because then I can talk to you more in a more meaningful way. It's a timeless classic. All the other criticisms are addressed by future games, installments of the games, more guns, better story, so on and so forth. Yeah, once again, I was just kind of working with what's here. I totally agree with you. Like, I remember having very fond memories of Halo 2 and how, like, yeah, there's probably a greater weapon variety. I know you can do akimbo with that. Maybe the story is better. I know you play a little bit. I think you switch between the Covenant and Master Chief and whatnot. But so fuzzy am I on the details. Ramped up soundtracks. I had no problem with the tracks, dude. I will glaze the shit out of the audio if you want. I could write a symphony on a symphony, bro. It's but yeah, I said if it wasn't apparent, it was a reevaluation of my own thoughts on the game. Yeah, I was just talking to him more about his points. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of the charge shot is to follow up, right? Because you're in cooldown, like, well, you're like waving the gun around, it's a hot curling iron or whatever, and you're like, ah, fuck. And yeah, naturally I followed up, I think for the most part, with melee options. I don't know how much I switched to a secondary, but you know, switching to a secondary is faster than reloading. Calling Halo 1 a bad game just means you have ABS taste. I can't tell. Oh, probably he's probably saying ass. You have shit. I'll just say he's saying I have shit taste, and do not enjoy anything in that era. That's not true. I really enjoyed Sly Cooper. What are some games from the early 2000s? I played a lot of NBA Street. Tony Hawk was amazing. Jet Set Radio was really cool. Oh man, I'm blanking right now. I remember playing a lot of the Budokai games. Those were so good. And then, yeah, if you want my opinion on what a good game is, I said in the video, Doom 2016 is a really good game. As far as a mechanical standpoint, I couldn't tell you shit about the story. I did not play that game for the story. But I had a good time shooting stuff and killing stuff. And then someone was telling me the Covenant followed Autumn from Reach, which was glass due to the Covenant's attempts at genocide. Bungie didn't want to do this. They were telling me about a precursor book before Halo Combat Evolved that fills you in on the leading up to Combat Evolved, and it's really cool that they made a whole book for context. Like, that's fucking awesome. Just don't play Halo, you know absolutely nothing. I'm a freaking part-time speedrunner that uses YouTube as an archive, and even I have a video that's creeping up on views to this garbage. Get a job. Your replies just tell me how insecure you are about your channel. I am happy your runs are going well. Regarding the sniper rifle and the Flood, I believe the intention of the developers is for you to frequently switch up the weapons you use. That is also partially why you can only hold 2 guns, so you're encouraged to scour the battlefield for more. Fair? Okay. I think the idea is that you would try using something like the sniper rifle against the Flood, notice that it's not very effective, and then try out different guns like the shotgun. And yeah, to that degree, completely succeeded because I didn't use the sniper rifle on the Flood anymore, whether I realized why or not. I thought it was a glitch just because I saw them like stagger, but yeah, they didn't die. So, I mean, they got their intention, I just didn't understand because I'm too stupid. Maybe you can argue that that's not the most intuitive design by today's standards, but it was very common for games back then to communicate their intended mechanics that way. Similarly, it was generally encouraged to use plasma weapons against shielded enemies, elites, and ballistic weapons against non-shielded enemies like grunts. This becomes especially noticeable on higher difficulties. Yeah, like, thinking about it more, like, I should have given more credit to, like, let's just talk enemy diversity and, like, the drip feed of enemies that they'd give you. I think the drip feed that they give you on introducing new enemies is better than I gave it credit for. Because, you know, you have the elites and grunts initially on, when you're first on the Pillar of Autumn. And then you crash land, and then it gives you the jackals, introducing a new enemy. And then when you're going to rescue Captain Keyes, it introduces the brutes, and I got jump scared. I've completely forgot that they came down there. And then they slowly integrate the Flood, and then you have to deal with the popcorns, the kernels that I talked about, and then the infected enemies, and then finally you have the Legion. Better than I gave it credit for. With that said, though, it's because you see these enemies so frequently that you forget why they're significant. Because, like, if you would just introduce something for the first time, it's significant because it's new and it's fresh, and then that's when it makes you switch up gameplay. But when you see these enemies a lot more commonly, you're not thinking about how you're not thinking of the significance on how they're actually different. It's because they become common that they lose their potency. I would say it's better than I gave it credit for. And that's another reason why I would bump the game up to 7. Regarding your comments on the story, it's true that it wasn't that spectacular back then. The series would become better known for that in later games and in books. It's true that the game itself doesn't go into details about things like why humanity and the Covenant are at war. This is also a bit of a product of the time, as players were usually expected to read the manual or details like that. Halo's manual states that the Covenant declared war on humanity because they saw them as an affront to their religion. In later games, they implied to mean they did not like humanity colony on Reach, planning using their Halo, being so close to their holy ring. And speaking of that ring, In the first Halo, it's actually never revealed that there is more than one Halo. That was revealed in Halo 2. Was it? Because I did play a little bit of Halo 2 after playing Halo 1 initially, like 4 or 5 years back. And I didn't continue playing Halo 2 because I was playing on Xbox, and one of the missions would just hard freeze. And I put that game down, and then I was just like, I put it down for like a year or two or something like that. I'm like, let me just try it. And then, of course, it worked. I'm like, I've already put this game down for far too long. Ugh. Yeah, no, so I did go into the extra reading a little bit. I watched a really good lore video. If I find it, I'll link it because it was so good. And, oh, man. Yeah, like, once you do the extra reading and it informs on what's happening, like, everything becomes heightened because you've done this extra work to be, like, to know why, the Covenant are attacking you, know more about the Flood and setting up the Flood and, like, the religious elements that they had referred to, and like how in the later games Cortana's going, she's fucking bipolar now, and she's like, I want pancakes, and then fucking just jumps out a window. I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I would like to learn more. I would like to know more. Like, I wasn't set up to absorb the lore the best because I was at work, man, and like my ability to absorb information while I'm simultaneously working is rough, bro. It's tough. Like, you're just a mindless zombie at work, and yeah, it's not the best way to get invested in the new world. Yeah, this guy. You have a Twitch? Like, I'm not flexing because I know I'm not shit. Here's the thing. I just wanted to see what you were doing. Because if you have shit that's popular, like, I mean, good stuff. Alright, well, that's gonna do things. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoyed talking and conversing with some of you guys. I'm happy to make some compromises with you guys. If you guys want to push the conversation further, I totally don't mind talking to you guys. It's just the people that are saying nothing. Yeah, if you guys can check out the rest of the channel, there's plenty of videos on here, but this is my main channel. I do stuff on fighting games. If you guys have any interest, you guys can stop on by to my main channel if you feel so inclined. If not, it's all good. I just talk all kinds of love on my favorite genre of games and just have a good time playing them. And then me and my homeboy do some gaming together on our shared channel, DualShock, which if you guys want to check out, that's cool too. If not tripping about it. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.